What's good, everybody? We're back. Another episode of the Solver series, episode 104. As you can see, no John today. Apologies. It's just me. Just get the good takes. We're going to go over some ADP risers and fallers. We're going to look at some of my exposures. We're going to do some slow drafts in real time, and we're going to hit a BBM tonight. I have 12 BBMs in my pocket. I got to get more done. I'm slowly waiting. August is getting closer. It's going to be hard to get over 100 done in August, but I am going to try. So we'll get one done today on the series. But first, as always, guys, we're going to start with the Solver tool itself. The ADP tool. I think the ADP tool is really cool. It's really easy to use as well. When you get here onto the Solver page, just go to player ADPs, and it'll immediately take you to the screen here. And you can set up here the dates that you want to see the movement of the player ADP. So if you want to see from the beginning of the contest, you can do that. You can just go to all. It defaults you at 4 weeks. I think 4 weeks is a pretty good look at things, because if you use the visualization tool, which I will in a second, 4 weeks I think gives you the best view of the ADP movement. But if you want to see just like the past week, you can do that. Get a good viz of the Freiermuth and Jonnu fall and the rise of Darren Waller and J.K. Dobbins. Steady rise. And while Jack Besh, Kyle Williams, and Tootin fall in the last week. But the players I wanted to highlight here as fallers were Tootin and Blue for sure. These I think were the biggest fallers. Burden is falling because he's been injured. We really don't know about his health necessarily, and we also got bearish comments, no pun intended, from Ben Johnson about Luther Burden, saying he's missing valuable time. So the market is reacting accordingly to that. The Jack Besh fall, I think, was just the market correcting itself, and of course, I can't forget the Thornton, Dante Thornton news as well, that he's going to start over Jack Besh, even though Jack Besh was taken in the second round. My whole contention with Jack Besh is I just thought he was too expensive, point blank, period. Now he's falling and he's available at pick 154. I'm taking a lot of Jack Besh at 154. That's a much easier pick at that range. But I want to take a look, go to the visualization tool. And if you missed that here, you can just click the plus sign here and add them to the viz tool, or you can just put their names up here, type them in, and see their names that way as well. But these are pretty steady falls here for Tootin and Blue, and this is really what we expected. This isn't even that strong of a victory lap. I'm not even trying to victory lap it. It's just we knew this would happen, right? BBM opens, rookies maintain those high ADPs from big board season, as we are like hoping that you hit a big one. And when things maybe do or don't work out the way you want to, there is a fall. Sometimes it takes longer than others, but people were just excited about the Blue landing spot, and people were excited about Tootin as well. But you're seeing the fall, right? These guys have fallen 12 picks each, and I think it makes sense. For me personally, these two now sit in very comfortable positions in the draft. I think they've hit a resistance because, at least for me personally, I'm starting to take these guys a lot more now. I think this is a really good spot for them. And when I'm on the clock and I see them at ADP, I feel much more comfortable taking them here than where I did 4 weeks ago. You can go to all here and you can see both of these guys rose, right? They opened up really low when BBM opened. They hit a peak right around the same time, right around May. And this makes sense, right? This is when all the virgins are drafting. This is when peak best ball, BBM craze is here. And this is what you see. And I had no part of this. I was not taking part of this at all. I think you can sort of tell the slope here is steady, is really plateauing. I think this is where it's going to maintain. The market has decided, okay, this is where we like them. But once camp news hits, if and when, you're going to see further movement. Tootin, I think, they both could fall pretty far. But we do need to pay attention. In my opinion, I think Tootin has the furthest to fall. I think really no matter what happens in camp, Blue will probably maintain that like optimistic pass catching role with just like big play upside. And at the end of the day, no one's really scared if, the coach comes out and says, yeah, you know what, Blue's RB3, RB2, because it's Javonte and Miles Sanders ahead of him so far. And Phil Maffa, people forget, but I don't think he has a lot of room to fall. I think Tootin has a lot of room to fall if the coach, comes out and says some really negative things. Liam Cohen comes out and says some really negative things, and or says this is a competition between ETN and Bigsby, which I think could totally happen. So I'm cautiously taking Tootin, but I would definitely be mindful of these two players for sure. So that's the ADP movement spreadsheet. You can easily just kind of sort by ADP change here, which is just showing you by largest change, positive or negative, which is really cool. And you can also sort by draft capital change as well, even though it's pretty much the same thing. And if you also want to see quarterback ADP movement, that's another thing. This is a good one to highlight here. Dak Prescott, all time up, but in the last 4 weeks, JJ McCarthy is rising. Drake May is rising. That to me makes sense as we get closer to the season. Portfolio tool. So here I have all of my drafts in here. And if you've been paying attention to me, I've been doing Superflex. So I've got some Superflex drafts in here. I've got, regular best ball in here. Those are the two type of contests that I have in here. You can go to contest breakdown and see, this is just a portfolio overview, right? This is just seeing how much money I've spent on Underdog and in what contest. And then this is overall exposure. So this is really the only place, if you are doing Superflex and regular best ball and you wanted to see your exposures all in one place, this is really the only place you can do that on Underdog. They're partitioned, which I agree with, but if you want to see them all at one place, this is where you can do it. But if you want to, hey, you know what, maybe I want them separate, which I do prefer them to be separate. You can go to the exposure tab. My big fat head is covering it, but let me just move myself over. We have the portfolio option and exposure. When you go to exposure here, you can go by either Underdog season, which is regular season, or Superflex. I want to show some Superflex stuff, man. Just briefly. I know that this is a very controversial topic, but I'm very heavily concentrated in Superflex. As you can see, I've got a lot of Theo Johnson, a ton of Theo Johnson. He's just like way too cheap for Superflex. I think he's just way too cheap in general. So I take him, as you can see, 50% of the time. I've got a lot of Romeo Dubs. Why do I have a lot of Romeo Dubs? Because I'm going RB heavy like crazy, and he is a very good, well projecting player. So we take Dubs and hope that he hits my lineup every now and then. The Najee pick, not necessarily aging well, even though I feel totally fine about his availability for the season. But yeah, just a little example of what some of my exposures look like. And another cool thing that I like to see too is the draft board. It's just essentially a heat map of what you are typically doing in drafts. So as you can see, man, I am running really poor at the top three, right? I'm pretty much like, like 7%, 9%, 7%, 8%. And I max this contest. And I promise you, once I'm finished maxing, because I'm doing slows, it's not going to look much better, man. I did not run very well with the RNG, and Superflex is probably one of the most important contests to roll a top 5 pick. So I'm fighting uphill. I'm really putting my thesis to the test there. But as you can see, I've been passing on Joe Burrow. I've been passing on Patrick Mahomes. I've been passing on Bo Nix in exchange for taking these running backs early. So that's my Superflex heat map here. If you want to, pause and take a look at some other picks I've been taking, feel free to do that. Regular Underdog season, though, let's take a look at where I'm at right now. This is for all contests, and I am slowly getting this Keenan Allen exposure to a level that doesn't make me feel dead inside. No news on Keenan Allen, and no news is bad news if you are a Keenan Allen bull like myself. But a lot of George Pickens. I'm slowing down on Dobbins big time. As you can see, I think I've got some good enough value here that I can let this reset. Feel pretty excited about getting him in the 160s as often as I did. Scatterboo, I'm also, you can see I'm on the wrong side of value here. I am exchanging my Scatterboo shares in real time for Tyrone Tracy. So that's what I'm up to right now when it comes to Scatterboo and my top 4 picks there. Hunter is just a pure handcuff. Don't really need to go into much there with Hunter, but this is really easy to get to view this stuff, guys. You just go to upload. You choose what type of slate you're uploading, whether it's Superflex, Underdog, maybe you're grinding the Eliminator. It's a really good tool, I think, for the Eliminator, especially if you are putting in work and you have access to this. I would definitely upload your Eliminator exposures and look at your heat map and see what you're doing. Because in my opinion, the Eliminator is a little bit of a portfolio contest. You can't control for the high variance matchups you're going to get, but you can control with what type of players that you're drafting, as well as the combinatorial of that as well. So, like, for example, you can do this with Eliminator. If you want to view your highest drafted player, you can see like where you're taking them. But what's really cool is under player stacks, you can see, okay, how often am I taking a teammate with George Pickens, for example, here. But what I really like is the non-teammates, because you get a much bigger sample and you can see how often you are pairing, a high drafted player with another player and other players. You can see how often I'm drafting players with George Pickens. And with the Eliminator, I think that's an important exercise to go through, because it's definitely a part portfolio contest, in my opinion. All right, before I get into a BBM, let's do some slow draft work, because, guys, I'm in a shit ton of slows. You know this. I keep talking about it because it's not necessarily taking over my life. I have a control on it for sure, but it's close. It's absolutely close to taking over my life. But I'm gonna go ahead and just like go to draft. I do want to highlight that you can very easily look at your team and whatnot from the active tab, and it's awesome that the overlay works while you're using the active tab. However, I do just want to go to draft and give you guys a better view and give you a better experience. So this, before I forget, this is a super flex. So continuing to chip away at my super flex. And the cool thing about this is giving me recommendations based on the fact that I am in a super flex contest. It's not confused, wondering why the hell I'm taking quarterbacks. It knows that I'm super flex, and it does this for all contests. So Kyler, Stroud, Bijan, Bucky, Rashi, Rice. What am I going to do here? Solver thinks Marvin Harrison is the best pick for me, and I can't help but agree. We've got a QB badge here, which means obviously it stacks with Kyler. Week 15, week 16 correlation, as you can see with Houston and Atlanta. So this to me definitely seems like the pick, but I don't want to absolutely ignore the fact that Chuba and Joe Mixon are here. My next pick will be pick 79. Running back's extremely important, man. It's extremely important in this contest because you can start 4. Theoretically, you can start 4. I don't think people knew this when they entered Superflex. If you want to, you can start 4 running backs. You may think I'm crazy. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4 running backs if you wanted to start 4. You only have to start 2 wide receivers. So I really like to just pound running back, but you can pound running back in a 0 running back fashion as well and try to get a bunch of contingency upside players or fringe players as well. There's other ways to do that. So I think, given the fact that I have correlation here, Marv is the best ADP value, really by a landslide. I think I'm going to take Marv here. All right, let's get into an Eliminator. Eliminator is really fun when you're using Solver. My favorite thing about using the solver with Eliminator is the fact that you can edit the preferences that you really care about with Eliminator. I have my solver Eliminator settings turned up to 11, bro. You can really do it however you want, but this is just the default right? What you can choose that to be in the eliminator. Right now, I'm showing you a screenshot because I don't have the ability at the moment to actually look at this while I'm streaming because I'm on a new device. So we're looking at this from a screenshot, but you can change the ADP weight as always, the stacking importance. But what's really cool is the bye week importance. You can adjust what you want to do with the bye weeks. Chef's kiss. That's fantastic. Love that. So just being able to do that obviously is awesome, right? Because if you care a lot about the bye weeks, which you should in Eliminator, you can crank that up. So let me go ahead and make that adjustment here because I actually think that right now I am not putting as much importance on the bye weeks, and I just want that to be exaggerated, right? I can make my own decisions when I'm drafting, but I want it to really be in my face. Like, hey, you're drafting an eliminator. Did you know that you're about to take another wide receiver with a week 12 bye? I want that to be in my face. So 1-4-4-1 for me in this eliminator here. Patrick Mahomes, Ashton Genty, James Cook, Cam Scatteraboo, Ramondre Stevenson, Drake London, Jalen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy, Steph Diggs, and George Kittle. So as you can see, guys, week 14 is very important to me. I care a lot about week 14, man. I'm sure you've seen Pete Overzet's video on the Deposit Kingdom, but he was stressing the importance of week 14 buys, and I was doing that quite a bit already. So I was a little worried, not worried, little upset that he leaked that alpha, but that's what Pete does. He puts out good content for people. So Eliminator is another contest like Superflex where I am once again really putting a lot of heavy importance on the running back position, trying to flex a running back every week. So that means having more running backs than usual on an underdog, but that's how I like to play it personally. But let's just take a look at what's on the board, man, because we're seeing Christian Kirk pop like crazy, and I think that makes sense, right? ETR, this is the ETR rank right here that you're seeing. They've got him ranked 114. His ADP is 125, and he's available at pick 131. I like Christian Kirk in Eliminator too. He is the perfect Eliminator ass pick, and I don't have any week 6 buys for my wide receivers. My wide receivers aren't necessarily like awesome. Like, is Jerry Jeudy a good Eliminator pick? I really don't think so. Is Stephon Diggs a good Eliminator pick? I like him for week 14. Kittle's an expensive pick, but he's week 14. I think this is going to be Christian Kirk. I think I just take my medicine here and lock up Kirk. I agree with what I'm being told here. Okay, let's do a couple more of these slow drafts, and then I'll hit a BBM. So this is a Pitbull, $20 to enter, 10 entry max, 100K to first. Love the Pitbull. Save some slows because I like to have slow drafts going after the contest closes. So right in front of my face here, Kyler Murray is being bigly suggested to me, and it's because I have Marvin Harrison. So I think Kyler here makes sense. I don't think I'd want to push him to pick 102. I could. Let's see what some of these options are, because Kyler, I think, no doubt, is like the best pick on the board. But just because he's the best pick on the board and he makes the most sense for my team doesn't mean we can't get a little risky and try to push this. So let's just take a look at some options here. I am pretty week 17 focused when it comes to the Pitbull. You may ask why. 156 seat final. That's not small. And it's 100K to first. 100K to first. 20% of the prize pool is put up top. So I want to make sure that I have a great team in the finals and that I am that I'm correlated appropriately. 2-4-1 team, Brock Bowers team. I love when I see Brock Bowers on my team. Jahmyr Gibbs, DeAndre Swift, Marv, Teteroa McMillan. Teteroa, don't call me Tet. Jalen Waddle, Jacoby Myers. So I think I'm going to go Kyler. I also am like very much setting up a Vegas stack here, right? I think getting Geno Smith is going to be important for this team. And I say that because these are all week 8 buys. So I will need another buy at some point. But I think I'm going to go with Kyler here. Just the Marv pick is so, so massive that if this fails, this team is done. So just like make the Uber bet. Make the Uber bet is where I'm at with that. All right, last one here is a sprint. Another really great contest to use the solver for because you can adjust different weights for the sprint, obviously, like you can other contests. And what I like to do is really crank up the week 15, 16, 17 importance. So that way this really sticks out to me where I have any sort of playoff correlation because obviously weeks 15, 16, 17 in the sprint are weighted equally. Michael Pittman is really green here. They are really telling me to take Michael Pittman. Let's see what my team looks like here. Kyron Williams, Alvin Kamara, Nico Collins, DJ Moore, Chris Olave, Stephon Diggs, and another Brock Bowers team. You simply love to see it. I don't see a ton of correlation here. Vegas and Texans looks like correlated in week 16. Okay. Very cool. So on the board here that could correlate, Kyler Murray is a week 15 correlation against the Texans. Not a ton of opportunities to correlate in the playoff weeks here, which is really crazy to just not see a single opportunity here. Makes me think Pittman might be the move. Two pretty good picks at running back. If I expand the draft capital allocation, I can see how things are looking right now. And I haven't quite hit that bucket for running back yet, but Kyron and Kamara are obviously two pretty strong bets at running back. Nico, DJ Moore, Chris Olave, Steph Diggs, like I said. Yeah, Warren is an interesting pick, and so is Brian Robinson. I don't take a lot of Brian Robinson, man. Let me get Brian Robinson and get him in a sprint where, he's potentially crushing in the playoffs. These numbers aren't spectacular by any means for Brian Robinson Jr., but I think the Commanders are going to kick some ass, man. I think they're going to be a really good team, and he has the chance to rack up like double-digit touchdowns for sure. So let me just take Brian Robinson Jr. on this team. All right, guys, BBM time. Let's get it. I'm going to do something a little controversial. Taking Saquon Barkley too. You don't see this very often. You don't see this very often in BBM. He's ADP 4 now. Man, I just don't think that that's smart. I understand that he touched the ball a ton last year, and I mean a ton. It's kind of all everybody talks about is how many touches he had last year. Here's my thing. I just don't think the Eagles are going anywhere. They just won the Super Bowl. I think they're going to be a really good team once again. The offensive environment for Saquon was the best he's ever been in, and he put up ludicrous numbers, just absurd numbers. I'm not overly worried about Saquon Barkley, man. To me, I just think that with the wide receivers that come back, I think I can make it work. I honestly, in BBM, I haven't had a lot of 102s, so this is going to be really the first time that I give this a go. So we'll keep an eye on how this team shakes out. All right, about to be up. Don't see anything too egregious here, other than hello, Josh Jacobs, pick 17. Get your guy season. I love it. Love to see it. Bowers almost, well, not almost, right? I'm a few picks away, but man, I've been seeing some Bauer falls lately, and I thought I could get lucky on recording, I should say. Okay, we are up. And Bucky Irving is my top suggested. I don't take a lot of Bucky Irving, and I don't love that he overlaps buys with Saquon. So I could do just the highest T start imaginable and take Jonathan Taylor. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I have no problem taking 2 running backs to start my team, especially ones of Saquon and Jonathan Taylor's calibers. Like should be just fine, brother. Don't think it's going to be a problem. T Higgins, comes back and looks like the best pick on the board according to the solver. But I'm gonna just go for it, dude. Triple running back start, and we're gonna figure it out. With the solver's help, we're gonna get out of this hole. And if you can even call it a hole, right? Saquon, JT, and Bucky. I don't know, man. Where I'm from, that's a hell of a start. Oh man, these 20-second clocks are just making these drafts fly. 3 running backs to start, so we we know damn well that we're just going to probably turn off that running back button. Yeah, nothing here that is making me want to take a running back. I mean, to take a 4th running back here, I would need probably like Bijan. It just does not make sense to take that 4th one here, obviously. But I do see my guy Jameson Williams here. All right, Chuba goes. Devontae Hurts, JMO, Sutton, and Pickens. I think I'm going to go JMO as much as I would like to try to do the. Yeah, I'm going to go JMO. I can't. I would love to have tried the Eagles onslaught, but is that really a good move for a playoff contest? Like, am I going to try to ping pong this type of lineup? I suppose you could make the case for it. We'll see if this guy takes Hurts or not. If he doesn't take Hurts, I may do it. Okay, he goes Mixon. Now, JMO or Pickens here is quite the conundrum. If I take Hurts, man, no, I'm gonna take Pickens. Hurts would be fun to ping pong with Saquon and just like absolutely, try to bury this lobby in running back points and QB points. But JMO and Pickens, I just think are like such good best ball picks, right? Their profiles, just you don't have to try to predict when they're going to go nuts. You just get their awesome scores, and yeah, I just think it makes sense for this team. We're going to take a lot of wide receivers if you haven't guessed. All right, round 6 rapidly approaching. You see a big run on running backs, and I love to see it. I love to see it because I'm not taking a running back anytime soon, bro. No shot in hell. Let's take a look at the players available to me. That is not the draft. Here it is. Okay, Godwin, Debo, looking like strong suggestions, and I would agree. I would agree with that. I would love either Godwin or Debo here. No thank you on Joe Burrow. Obviously unstacked. Doesn't make sense here. Okay, perfect. So this is like another pretty big upside swing, right? There's a lot of ways Debo's season can go, but his first season in Washington in another really strong offensive environment, right? That's like kind of all he knows. I'm going to bank on last season just being, a really poor health season for Debo, and let's get this dude healthy in a Jaden Daniels offense, and we're probably going to get fireworks, right? If he's truly healthy and he's not washed, which is a big if, depending on who you ask. So Montgomery is here. No thank you on Montgomery. Laporta's here. A big green on Laporta as well. I'm going to go Matthew Golden. I really like Matthew Golden on Green Bay. I'm a big fan of Green Bay's offense. And Matthew Golden, I think, really, really strong upside, crushed the combine. And I'm just surprised he's just not a more expensive pick, given the fact that he's an exciting rookie that landed in a pretty damn good situation. All right. 8-9 pick coming up here. We're looking at a 3-4 build right now. Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving, JMO, George Pickens, Debo Samuel, Matthew Golden right now. This is shaping up to be probably a 3-something-something-3. Typically how I like to build these teams. Solver really like an Ayuk here, but man, I am really worried about Ayuk. So I'm not so sure that he's the pick for me. We are 5 picks past ADP. I think I'll just take Cup. Can I get Coleman in? I think I got him in. Okay, good. Coleman's a much more fun pick there. I am pretty worried about Cooper Kupp, but Coleman, man, Coleman's a fantastic pick, but we get cut back. Uh, all right, let's say Cup, dude. I'm worried about Ayuk. I know we got like some news that he could be ready week 1. Ayuk might have been the pick there, but we need. I don't think this wide receiver room could handle that risk, right? If Ayuk is out the first 4 weeks on this wide receiver room, I'm toast. But there's a chance Cooper Kupp is just totally washed, in which case, not fun either in that scenario. But I think Kupp made more sense given the fact that I just really needed some points. Okay, so I'm up in 6 picks or 5 picks now. 3, 6 start with 0 QB and 0 tight end. Gotta start looking at QB here. Dak makes a ton of sense. Jared Goff makes a ton of sense. I'm going star method here. Just keeping these guys in my sights. Don't want to lose sight of them. Just so I have those stacks in my back pocket, because that would be devastating. That'd be devastating to lose one of these picks, but I think we're gonna get one back. This guy has 3 QBs here. My boy, please don't. Okay, take Sharps. High variance. Living up to the name. He did have CD. Okay. Yeah, he had CD Lamb. I'll let it go. We're gonna go Jared Goff here. I need the stack. We get the stack. Jordan Love would be awesome. This guy goes Spears Lawrence. Okay, perfect. We're gonna double tap QB there. Not bad. All right, we get the Goff stack, get the Jordan Love stack. No week 17 on either of those, but I am feeling really good about the fact that we got those 2 stacked up. Thank God. Let's just start to look ahead a little bit at tight end. My next pick will be 143. In that range, we're looking at Jake Ferguson to pair with Pickens, which I don't hate, right? It's just a bet on the offense. Likely for the stack with the Packers, feels good. Goddard, just a bet on the Eagles. Kincaid for a run back off of Saquon, like we already have with Coleman. And Tucker Kraft, obviously stacks with Jordan Love, but I don't think we're going to get Tucker Kraft. Jonnu Smith, don't really have a whole lot of interest in right now. Pitts is also a pretty tough click. So at that point, like, I think I would be looking at another position if that was the case. Now, I could go 2 QB here with Goff and Love. Do I love doing that? No, absolutely not. No, I don't love that at all. But I totally could, right? Who else am I going to take here? Sam Darnold? I could go Sam Darnold. Don't hate Sam Darnold, but maybe set up a Cam Ward back stack as well. We'll see what comes to us. But right now, tight end is a top priority for me. Maybe getting a 4th running back and just like running 4 RBs here. Absolutely no more than 6. That's a no-brainer, but it's just a matter of, is this going to be a 4 or 5 RB team? Our tight ends got picked off like crazy right before our pick got hit. Tucker, Kincaid, both went. 2 of my top priority tight ends there, so that was a bummer. But we're gonna make do. We're gonna make do. All right, what are the bye weeks here? Oh man, I do love me some Trey Benson, but let's do Goddard first. Goddard has correlation 16, 17, and obviously stacks with Barkley for whatever it's worth, correlation wise. But we'll take it. We'll take it. A bet on the Eagles offense in general there. Likely goes. That would have been pretty cool. Jack Besh, Romeo Dubs here look like good picks. Garendo for that fourth running back. I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Ferg or yeah, let's go Ferg. I kind of panicked there. Uh, I need. We're gonna go 3 tight ends. I think I could shut it down at 2. I could be talked into shutting it down at 2 here. But what would I do with the extra draft capital? I guess we'll wait and see. I was really thinking about taking a shot on Jaden Blue. I didn't do it. 20-second clocks got me stressed, but I think I can just like take a handcuff later, right? I can just play an upside pick because truth be told, if one of these 3 running backs aren't hitting my lineup, at least 2 out of 3 aren't hitting my lineup like every week, this team's done for. So it just didn't make a ton of sense. I think I was just better off taking a better tight end instead of always doing, because I do a lot of punt tight end. So this was, I think, the better move, getting a different texture of lineup in my portfolio and continuing to just drill this bet home that I nailed this. The only problem is week 9. I think I'll be okay though. Round 14. 2, 3, 6, 2. What's it going to be? Jack Besh falling back? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Jack Besh it is. This could be an 8 wide receiver team at this point. I'm not ruling that out. Okay, he goes Otten Dowdle. Darnold's an interesting pick. No, not Shipley. Let's go Sam Darnold. I like Darnold, man. I like Darnold. And I feel like I'm in the minority on liking Sam Darnold. I just like his cost. He's a 15th round pick. 15th round pick that scored 320 points last year, man. Yeah, he was in like the most awesome coaching environment ever. I grant you that. I grant you that point. But hear me out. What if he just was not a full Vikings merchant? And what if the Seahawks are just a better team than we expect? I don't think it's that crazy. On top of the fact that I drafted Cooper Kupp, right? So if Cooper Kupp is having a good year, man, Sam Darnold sure as shit is probably having a great year. There was also some coach speak on Sam Darnold, and what else is a coach going to say before week 1? But the coach was like, yeah, Sam Darnold, like, of course he's my quarterback. Like, what the fuck else am I going to do? Sure. Love to hear that. Love to hear that. So Sam Darnold, I have no fear. Sign me up, man. All right, 3, 3, 7, 2, and I need to figure out how I'm landing this plan. I have 3 picks left. Not necessarily loving the fact that I that took Sam Darnold there, but I'm convincing myself that it was the right move. Convincing myself that 3 quarterbacks was the right move. This guy, 4 quarterbacks here. Very interesting strategy. Very interesting strategy. 3, 3, 7, 2 here. I do think I want to finish with 3 tight ends, but I don't think that it's the worst thing in the world to do just Goddard and Ferg. But let's see what tight ends are here. JT Sanders, Theo Johnson. You guys know I like Theo Johnson. Jawan Johnson's here as well. Sam Dalton Schultz. Yoshivash goes there. Who's this running back going to be? I suppose Jarquez Hunter. Let's take Hunter, handcuff / maybe standalone role, mostly handcuff, but we'll take Jarquez Hunter there. I think that made sense. All right, Let's see here. Tutu Atwell goes there. Is Slayton important to this team? He correlates at 15 and 17. So does De'Ami Brown. Let's go De'Ami, man. Play De'Ami Brown off Jonathan Taylor. Potential exciting stuff for De'Ami Brown. He obviously did not have a great start to his career. Finished last year in a pretty exciting fashion for the Commanders, and ends up with a new coach, good GM, pretty good offensive environment. And I think there's question marks around whether or not, Travis Hunter is going to play in 2 wide receiver sets. How often will he play in 2 wide receiver sets? Is De'Ami Brown the bona fide wide receiver 3? That's the bet I'm making here. Correlates with Jonathan Taylor. Little past ADP too, but at this point, it's a very small drop in the draft capital bucket. As you can see here, spent a ton on running back, not advised, but had to do it. What was I to do? I had no choice, simply. Yeah, we'll see if I go three tight ends here, but I think I will. So I didn't get any tight end that I wanted to there. I don't really care for Freiermuth. Don't care for Ferguson. I really worry that he's just going to be behind Higbee all season. So I went with Scantling. I doubled down on the Sam Darnold pick and went with Scantling. So we have a ton of week 8 buys, which I don't necessarily love, but I think making that extra oomph on the Darnold pick was the move, or at least I thought it was the move. Let's go ahead and pull this up in the Explorer and take a look at this further. All right, so we did get a little bit of ADP value on this team. As you can see, we stacked up Detroit, Green Bay, and Seattle. Huge allocation to the running back position as far as draft capital goes. First half build 0.36, ended with a 3.492. This is a really strange build. I don't typically do these type of things, but when doing a show, might as well do something wacky. This will make for good viewership, I hope. I love taking a look at the playoff stacks that I got. So as you can see, a ton of Seattle against Jonathan Taylor, a ton of Seattle against Hunter. Please be a thing, Jarquez Hunter. And nothing in week 17, but I do love the matchup regardless, right? Just because I don't have a stack with Seattle in week 17 doesn't mean that I don't love that they play Carolina. I think that's a fantastic week 17 matchup for them. This is pretty fun. Debo against Dallas with 2 strong Dallas pieces. And then we get Keon Coleman against the strong Philadelphia pieces. And then De'Ami Brown, hopefully being a thing against Jonathan Taylor. So let's see where I got good draft capital and where I maybe sacrificed a bit. Don't care that I sacrificed a QB. I was stacking. Saquon I sacrificed, but that was more of a gut take. And given the fact that I ended up so running back heavy, maybe should have taken Justin Jefferson, but needed to try it. Needed to see it to be sure. Ton of ADP value late for wide receivers, and obviously not a ton of draft capital associated with this value, but a ton of value regardless, which was nice because I was really trying to make up for dilly-dallying at the wide receiver position. And then Dallas Goedert and Jake Ferguson, man, I don't think that's a bad 2 tight end room, right? Tight ends score the least, or generally just don't really separate all that much. So I'm not mad at that 2 tight end room. I don't hate this team. It's definitely not like a great team, right? I think I can be straight with you guys to that point that I don't think it was a great team because of decisions that I decided to make. But I do think it's a good team. And as long as these 3 guys stay healthy and crush, I think at worst I'm advancing. So I don't really hate it from that standpoint. But guys, this is going to be it for me. Thanks for watching. We missed you today, John. I don't think John would have ever drafted a team like this, but I needed to go for it just to say that I did it. So appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks a lot. If you haven't liked the video, please like. If you haven't subbed, please sub. We love you guys. We appreciate you, and we will see you next time on the Solver Series. Peace.